This is so horrifying, just seeing so many people die suffering, while he's just enjoying his lunch. Someone creeps this thing out? Really? No. No. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben, and today I'll be reacting to the Death Note episode 3. Now already this show feels so insane to me. Like, I just love the perspective of watching basically the protagonist be the villain here. He is the one with this power of life and death, and he's using it to do bad things. Yes, it's kind of okay, it's neutral, it's morally grey. He's killing people, which isn't a good thing, but he's finding justifications for it. But then on the other side of that, the antagonist who's against him is kind of the good guy who's trying to stop him. But I think I really love the detail that we've seen grayness in both of them. Light, first off, lashed out against L and tried to kill him there after he really didn't do anything. And then L, on the other hand, got another person killed basically in the same method. It was a prisoner, he was going to be sentenced to death that day. So it's cool that we're seeing reflections of them in each other when they're saying that they're both justice, they both have this idea of what the world should be and what the other's doing. And I kind of just love that the most interesting part about the show isn't even the weird fantasy Shinigami thing, it is these two. The two people, the two humans. But yeah, I can't wait to continue this show now because I just want to know what Light is going to do next. Because just using this power has already drawn attention to him. People have found that he's in Japan and specifically in a certain region, but it's clear he's not going to back down. So I figure he's going to continue doing stuff. I just want to know if he's going to find a creative way to sort of continue trying to create the world he wants, or also trying to defend himself against L's investigation. But yeah, as always, if you do enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel to grow. If you do enjoy my content and you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon, the link in the description, of them uploading these videos and the full reaction a week in advance. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. With that said, let's just dive on in.
Most of these have been curious citizens and prank calls, but there are 14 people who claim to either know Kira or who have seen him.
And how can you see someone? Those can't be real then.
And lastly, this week there were an additional 21 people who called in claiming to be Kira.
Oh, great. So you got people that... that's the thing. People are going to try and claim it because they want to hide the real person. And they want the fame also, too.
Concerning L's request that we investigate the time of death for each victim.
I love how detailed L is. The time of death.
The hours of 4 p.m. and 2 a.m. on weekdays, local time, with 68% of them occurring between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m.
You can figure out the guy's schedule from that alone.
It suggests that given the times of death, our suspect could very well be a student.
Yep, and you've already got it.
I think it's safe to assume that he's driven by a very idealistic notion of justice. It's highly possible he may even aspire to be some sort of godlike figure.
Do you even got the god thing?
Has a very childish concept of right and wrong.
Okay, you've got it.
We must consider every possibility. That is the shortest route to finding and arresting Kira.
You've got it. Nothing you've said is wrong so far. It's a student. You figured it out. And you've even figured out the motive. Childish idea of being a god.
In the last few days throughout the world, but especially here in Japan, we've observed a dramatic decrease in the number.
You're going to start thinking it's a positive influence.
I suppose it makes sense. We've suspected something like that would happen. Anything else?
You shouldn't let it keep going, because eventually there's a power you can't control. If it's a student, they could grow up and they could just start using it against everyone.
I would like you to go back and take a closer look at the exact way in which the victims' identities were made public.
You're going to see this on TV, so you're going to figure out that they can just see it through they're going to figure out this through faces and names.
I'm sure everyone already knew that. I wanted to apologize.
What on earth are you talking about?
Apologizing for stating the obvious.
It'll be easy to speak the truth, but it has to be done, especially when it's something that isn't easy to say.
Yeah, fine.
If you'd gone on to say that we should commend Kira for doing such a great job of reducing violence.
Yeah, that's the bad bit.
I knew I could count on you, Light.
So, do you think you're ready to try a few on your own now?
I kind of hope the sister is getting in the way of him using the Death Note. That could be something, because this is meant to be his free time when he's not studying, he's helping her. That could be good.
Helping your sister with her homework. You sure are relaxed.
If the police try to come after me, I'm pretty confident I've got something that'll give me the advantage.
What?
Hey, glad you could join us for dinner. You hungry, Dad?
Yeah, it's been a long...
You've got to be kidding. His dad is the chief. The dad is that person, the police person. I love the creepy presence of this thing just always being there.
Everything's okay, I guess.
Whatever. He's at the top of his class. My big brother's a G.
Like, my head's spinning. How would this conflict go? And we're seeing just a happy family.
Look tired.
Yeah, I'm not able to say too much about it.
Oh, does it mean he could technically try and be helping his dad? Like, reducing crime? It would mean his dad has to do less.
Daddy's a policeman, and that must be the reason why you're so confident.
You basically have an in with the police.
For me to hack into Dad's computer so I can copy the files I need without leaving a trace. This way I can keep track of their investigation.
Okay, I need to know, does he care about people? I don't know if that's, like, is he a psychopath? Because this is his dad, who you think he would have a big kind of a problem going behind his back and doing this sort of thing.
Looks like the police are already beginning to suspect a student.
I guess that means you're in trouble.
I love that this thing's just a passive observer. He's just watching and enjoying the show. It's not even trying to be a negative influence and encouraging him, it's just watching. Like, would he even object if Light tried to burn the book?
After writing the cause of death, details of the death should be written in the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
Is he gonna start specifying the deaths now so it's not just heart attacks?
Then I should be able to write down all the details, including time of death afterwards, shouldn't I? Looks like I'll be able to provide you with more entertainment.
Oh, so he can, like, the deaths wouldn't be between the schedule. You're gonna mess it up. You're gonna throw them off student. Oh no. But, no, wait, I'm hoping that Elle is smart enough to realize that something's changed there. Okay. Yeah, we're all dead. What happens if he misspells something? Does it just, I think like the cause of death, what, it just misspells heart attack or something? And dead.
Snap out of it!
Dead. And this is all while he's just being a student. This is horrifying. This is so horrifying, just seeing so many people die suffering, or he's just enjoying his lunch.
Another 23 victims yesterday? Are these confirmed?
23.
Yes.
The day before, there were another 23 victims.
Is it specifically 23?
One off every hour on the hour.
Okay, that's what he's doing.
Does punch some holes in the theory that our suspect is a student.
Maybe not. Anybody can skip 2 days of school.
You're missing the point.
What have you figured out? Go on, blow my mind.
And why are all these victims in prisons where they are sure to be discovered immediately? Why not other criminals like before?
What?
Eve Kira is telling us that not only can he kill from a distance, but he can also determine the time of death.
I don't think he wasn't trying to tell you that, but it is a powerful message, yeah.
As soon as we began to suspect that Kira might be a student,
It changed. You know he's onto you. You should know that he knows about the investigation now.
can only mean that Kira has access to police information. It's obvious now. This is a direct challenge to me.
I love that you're a genius.
I'd say Elle is probably starting to sweat a little by now.
Nope. Oh.
I've deliberately left about 50 criminals alive for times like this.
Let them alive.
Now he should be starting to suspect someone with connections to the police.
You're gonna frame the dad?
Found a way to obtain information from the task force headquarters. This is one fact that cannot be ignored.
Yep, so okay, you're not panicking.
What is he hoping to achieve in the end?
I like that we are seeing him struggle a little bit and just trying to think. He doesn't have the answers instantly. He is thinking it through.
Well, my real agenda is to get close to Elle so I can eliminate him.
Why'd you even bother with her? Why'd you get... is it the insult or that he called you evil that you're holding on to so much? Why don't you just move on and keep doing what you're doing?
Elle and the investigators don't trust each other at all. Think about it. Could you trust someone whose name and face you don't even...
Oh, so... Okay, so he's sowing distrust, so they're gonna... So he's making the police want Elle to show himself.
to start investigating the police to find the source of the leak. When that happens, it'll only be a matter of time before the police start resenting Elle.
And then they'll call him in and then the face will be revealed. Oh dear. He's just gonna destroy it.
Elle will investigate the police, and they will be investigating Elle.
So yeah, just distrust.
Not the one who's going to find Elle. I can let the police do that for
Does he care about his dad? I feel like this could really damage his dad's, like, career, life. Like, does he care? I feel like he could be a psychopath at this point. Does he not have feelings or empathy? Is that something the world did to him, or was he just born that way? I think the world, yeah, that's a good explanation for why he's doing what he's doing, but he has no emotion to, like, other people.
We demand that you assign us to a different case. Otherwise, you can have our badges right here and now.
That's drastic.
You're good cops!
Isn't it clear? It's because we value our lives, sir.
None of the police has died.
Kira has some ESP-like power that somehow allows him to kill people indirectly. From anywhere.
They're already suspecting something supernatural. That's amazing. So no denial, just, okay, supernatural, open. Nice.
He asked that we take a closer look at how these victims' identities were made public, and specifically to determine whether photos of the victims were available to the...
Yeah, so Al's already figured out his names and faces.
Unlike someone we know, we're out there investigating this case wearing police IDs with our names and...
Yep, and Elle, of course, is hidden.
Computer can find out who we are. We don't hide our faces, we're out in the open.
How can Elle fix this? He would have to sort of reveal himself, but then that's endangering himself, and that's kind of what Light wants.
Hey, stop! All of you! Hold it right there!
They just ignored you, wow. So yeah, Light is destroying his dad's career.
We must establish the concept that x squared equals large.
Is that this thing walking around a classroom? Oh dear. What are you doing? What are you looking at? Wait, who's that?
We brought the FBI to Japan 4 days ago. They're fully operational.
FBI?
They're now gathering intel on the police.
And this is the complete list?
He's not just using the Japanese police force, he's using other police forces. Of course, worldwide.
I am sure that somewhere in this list of police officers and the people closest to them, we will find our suspect.
Oh, Light has literally narrowed down himself. By using his dad's connection, it makes it so easy for Light to, narrow down the number from the population of this region of Japan to the people connected to the police force.
First of all, I don't have anything against you. I actually think the notebook couldn't have been picked up by a better person.
Of course, okay. Negativity.
Stick around till the death note is finished, or I see you die, whichever comes first.
Okay, so the death note could be finished.
Make no mistake, Light. I'm not on your side or El's side.
Passive observer.
I'm not here to support you or give you my opinion. I'm just a spectator.
Love it. Honestly, love the honesty.
The only reason I'm going to tell you this is because personally it's starting to creep me out.
Someone creeps this thing out? Really?
You're being followed by another human. He's watching you right now.
And is that something the FBI and L can't take into account, that he has this thing around him that can feed him info? You stopping gives it away.
I realize there's no way he can see me, but because I'm always following behind you wherever you go, I feel like I'm constantly being watched.
I love this thing. Doesn't like being watched. Oh, he's got such human emotions.
If he's gonna investigate the police, he'll need a lot of resources and manpower.
Oh, he's gonna figure out his FBI, isn't he?
I don't see how they could ever figure out that I'm Kira. I shouldn't look like anything other than your average high school senior.
Who's connected to the chief of police.
The longer I let this person keep following me, greater the chances they'll figure out who I really am. I need my stalker's name.
And face.
Once I figure that out, I can get rid of him for good.
Yep, great. Already planning murders.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
Another one?
What makes a Shinigami and a human who has a death note different? And why do Shinigami have to write the names of humans in their death?
I'm confused. What are you talking about? What's he doing? What's he doing? What's he doing?
It's because we are able to take human lifespans for ourselves.
Oh? What? It can die?
Was due to live until the age of 60, and a god of death wrote that this person would die at 40.
You get 20 more years?
Now those 20 years taken from someone in the human world are added to that god of death's life.
Okay, so you can die. You can die of old age.
Even if someone was to shoot us in the head or stab us in the heart with a knife, a god of death cannot die.
But you could die. You could. Possibility.
Your lifespan will not increase. That is the first difference between gods of death and humans who possess a death
Okay,
note.
But what about the lives from there? Does that get added to Ryuk? Does the names that Light writes down get added to Ryuk or not?
The difference between us will probably be of even greater interest to you, though this has less to do with lengthening life and more to do with cutting it short.
The more he writes, the shorter his life.
Shinigami can tell what a person's name is by just looking at their face. We know instantly.
Oh.
Human's name can be seen above their head. Not only that, we see their lifespan as well.
You can use him.
That's right. I'm able to see your name and lifespan right now.
Great. I needed to get those numbers.
Human time, I could tell you how many years you've got left.
Not human time, okay.
I may have a big mouth, but even I wouldn't go that far.
Is he just toying with Light right now? Is he just saying that he has all this power, but Light will never be able to use it?
Our eyes just aren't the same, and that is the difference between you and I.
Okay, you're only saying this to mess with him, and to show how powerless he is, compared to you.
He drops his death note, and a human picks it up. He can grant that human the eyes of a Shinigami.
No.
Only if a deal is made.
Deal? What do you want?
One that's been with us since ancient times.
And what's the deal?
Oh, you're desperate for the deal. Oh, great.
Is half of that person's remaining lifespan. That's all it is.
You're gonna give that up. You want this power.
If you were supposed to live another 50 years, it'll be 25. If it was one more year, then 6 months.
This is terrifying.
And since you've made it clear you're not on anyone's side, it won't help me out. You wouldn't just give me the names of people I wanted to kill.
Yeah, he just wants the deal.
You're saying that I can't simply borrow your powers. I'd have to pay for them.
It's a key part of the code that all Shinigami are bound by.
Bound? Okay, somebody information.
Give me half your remaining lifespan, and I'll give you the Shinigami eyes.
This is just entertainment for him, still.
I know everyone's name just by looking at them. If I had that power, the death note would only be easier to use.
You'd have who knows how long you'd have left to live, though.
Is it a deal?
If you kill him, the people will know who's after. Okay, ending. Oh, great. If you kill that FBI agent, the people will know who that one was, sent to look at. And, oh, look, he comes back dead. Kind of a giveaway. Okay, again, another flawless episode. The pacing is what's getting me right now. I'm loving the pacing. It feels so fast, yet there's so many episodes to this. I'm trying to figure out, how on earth they can keep going for so long when they're getting so insanely close. And then they just add in this power. So of course, Ryuk has more secrets that I figured out last episode, I'm pretty sure. And this one is insane. He can give his eyes to a human who can then just look at someone and immediately know their names. All they've got to do is write it down. This is so terrifying to think that someone has this kind of power, because it's adding more variables into L's investigation that will throw him off. Because that Light is already a genius. They're both geniuses, basically. And Light was able to figure out that, okay, they're looking for a student. Change it up. I can change how the dates work. They will die when I'm in school, and you can't place it on me. But then L has been able to figure out that their power not only does that, but it didn't throw L off. It revealed that he's still a student, but he's able to control the time of death. That's what it figured out, the fact that they changed it. And it also figured out that someone is able to get in the classified information from the police force. I think I just love how much they're messing with each other and how much that information is being shared there. Both of them are advancing very fast in their own goals to get each other here. Like, they're so insanely close already. And in the next episode, would they meet? What would happen then? Would he accept this deal? I don't know. He feels psychopathic. I don't know if he would care about his own life just for the sake of creating this world that he's after. But would he see it as being too easy? Does he like the challenge? He says he wants to be a god. This would be a next step and actually get him kind of closer to it. It's so terrifying to think that he could have this power, but then it would also be another giveaway, because it would have to be in his eyesight. It wouldn't would it work through a TV screen? That's another thing. But if it doesn't, it would have to be in his eyesight that it happens. So if he did kill this FBI agent, that FBI agent would have a list of people who's meant to track and stalk. He just turns up dead. They know exactly who did it then. So either Light is incredibly smart, or this will sort of corrupt him. His focus will shift. He'll want the power. Either he's smart enough to realize that this would just incriminate him more, having this ability, or he's so desperate to be the god that he thinks he is, he'll take the power and will not care about the consequences. But yeah, then Ryuk. So this thing, not just, it's a passive observer, but it also has different ways about it. I like that I just love his personality. He's just quite fun, but you also get to see that darker side of him, because it is a god of death, and I like that we're getting more information about how this thing works. It takes the life of the people it writes in its death note so that they stop being lazy. So it gives them a lot of time. Well, they got to, oh dear. Oh, they could just find a child and write their name in the book and give themselves all that life. How do they safeguard that? There's so many things I need to think about now. But how is that safeguarded? I hope there's some other kind of entity out there that goes against this, because this feels just horrifying. Their work is kind of just to destroy all humans, essentially. There's got to be some kind of safeguarding method to stop them from just writing the names of children in their notebook to get the amount of years they'd get from that. Yeah, then we also get the explanation of the deal and the differences between the human and the Shinigami, being the main power is that the Shinigami, all they've got to do is look at someone, they can see their name, first off, and how many years they have left. Those are the two big pieces of information. We also get to find out that the lives that Ryuk takes gets added onto his own, which does highlight the idea that he can be killed. He can die. That is something. The fact that he needs years to stay alive gives an option there that could be used. How can that work? Can you have negative years? Can that be something? Can someone have negative amount to live? And then that can just be added onto Ryuk until it eventually, because we don't know how many years Ryuk has left in him. Maybe if Light takes his power, he could see that in Ryuk and see how many years he has stored up. Because I imagine it's quite a lot. It's a god of death. I imagine it's got plenty saved up. So how could you defeat this thing? Unless it just fully stays a passive observer and this is just a story between L and Light, and Ryuk is just there and is just the grantor of this power. But yeah, then visually, love the look of Ryuk. That was the biggest thing for me here. Visually, it was Ryuk's eyes that changed. That was the big thing. And it makes me wonder if the deal has already been enacted there. In that moment, when Ryuk's eyes changed to red, is that already a sign that Light has accepted the deal? The fact that the eyes actually changed. But I just love how it makes Ryuk look so much darker. The guy's face doesn't change really. His mouth moves, but his expression does not change. His eyes never move. This feels terrifying, seeing that that's the first movement of his eyes. It almost looks excited by the prospect of this. But yeah, then we get the full picture of Light's family and just how wonderful that is, and how, because it looks like a very happy family. The fact that he's still like this makes me think he's psychopathic, and that's probably why he's the perfect choice for the Death Note. We get to see that his mum and sister are so light and just good parts of his life. His dad seems fine, but he's also, I think, the chief of police. So that's fun, and he has that way into that. But now I'm wondering, if the chief of police did find out that his son is the one that's doing this, what would happen then? Would Light turn against his father? Would he write his father's name in the book? And that also makes me ask an interesting question. What would happen if, like, we don't know his dad's name, but say you had a junior or senior type thing. What happens in that scenario? Would you have to write senior or junior next to the name to make sure it counts? Because I'm just thinking, that could be quite funny. If the two share their names, and he writes his dad's name in without specifying senior or junior, could that end up killing him? We probably heard the chief's name in this, but I completely missed it. I'm sorry. Yeah, then this episode ended with L getting, I guess, kind of, not frustrated, but he's thinking. We've seen him mainly just have the answers ready to go, but this time, not. That wasn't the case. He was thinking about what to do next. And it's like a game of chess, and right now, L has a bunch of moves left to play, and he's still gathering information, which is good. He's getting closer, but he's not ready to act. And he's still asking questions to get more information that he needs to act. But he's getting so close. He's figured out that it's part of the police force's families or connections. So all he's got to do is just prod a little more until they expose themselves. And the FBI agent could be the one to do it. If that guy dies outside the chief's house, you know exactly where the killer is. To start off, I think this episode generally makes me ask even more questions about L. The first two make it seem that the world is kind of the reason for his being like this. It shows how bad the world is, how the news is basically drowning him in all the negativity that's surrounding the society. If he's grown up and only hearing that, kind of makes sense that he would end up the way he is. But now this episode shows us him interacting with his dad, who's involved in this entire thing, and it feels kind of psychopathic, like he doesn't care. Is it psychopathic or sociopathic? I know there's a difference, and it's about whether sociopaths know what they're doing is wrong, but they do it anyway. Psychopaths don't know. I think he's a psychopath because he thinks what he's doing is right. Yes, I think he's a psychopath. Okay, so psychopath. So he doesn't realize what he's doing is wrong, but he also does not care. That's the big thing. Like, you think that jeopardizing, it would create like kind of an emotional turmoil with your dad being involved in this. You're doing this weird, crazy, insane thing, and your dad is the one who's looking for you, and that doesn't give you pause for like a second. Instead, you think, okay, I'm going to use that. I can go on the family network and find all the folders on the investigation. That's where his mind goes here. We don't see any sort of hesitation or remorse or just an inkling of doubt in his mind. He's so bought into this righteous mission that he's on that he's now looking past his family connections. He's psychopathic, and I kind of just love that the protagonist of this show is a full-on psychopath. It makes it so interesting because he can literally just do whatever, and it works perfectly with the main power of this story. Ryuk said it best. He is the best person to have the Death Note because we can now see him use it to the fullest. If it was just a regular person, they'd be restrained. Now we can see him use this Death Note and just all the power that it holds. And L, again, I think I just love the writing of this and just seeing how quickly this guy is figuring out stuff from the information he's given. He's not only figured out it's a student now, but he's also figured out another layer of the powers, and they've already opened themselves up to thinking that this could be a supernatural thing. They said ESP powers. That's telepathy, that sort of thing. So they've already opened themselves up to that sort of idea. I don't know if in this world, do they think that? I don't know if this is how fantasy is this. Is this set in like a real life where no one really knows about it? But then, of course, I think Light seemed to not be surprised about the Death Note. He seemed to know what it was. So I don't really know the rules of this world that we're in. Do they know about things? Are powers like a thing here? I don't know. But it seems like they've at least opened themselves up to that idea. And now they've figured out that that Light can control the time that someone dies, which does reinforce the idea that it is a student and that they have some kind of information about the investigation. You either have a leak or they have an access to it. So I love how they're both playing these games. L and Light, the fact that their names both start with L is kind of to me. So you have Light, who's able to show off his power in this way, not back down, and then kind of try and toy with his opponents. And then L, who's actually using all of this to try and build up the case and kind of keep going at it. Of course, the police force is not his only sort of recourse to try and gather this. He has the whole world working for him at this point. So now he's using the FBI, and that is something Light cannot control because, again, he is just a regular Japanese student. L actually has government backing and authority, meaning he has his hand in everything. So I think it really is a good power dynamic because, of course, Light is more powerful in the sense of his actual power and abilities, whereas L has knowledge, power, information. He has that sort of thing that can narrow it down so much faster, and he has resources. But the writing is just so insane, and I just love how snappy he is with his information, and that we got to see him start thinking things. It isn't always snappy. When he's getting closer, he still has to think things through. I think he said 140 people working at the police force. And then you have all their families and friends, but it's in that group. He's narrowed it down drastically since the start, and he is so close, and now he's starting to think it through more carefully, because of course you don't want to give some random person the death sentence when you could get the wrong guy and then like continues doing what he's doing. It would not be good. So I just love that we're seeing him be so careful and methodical about it. Then I think I just love what this episode did with Ryuk. I'm finding this character both fun and terrifying. Like, just seeing him walk around the class kind of bored, great. It's such a weird juxtaposition for what you'd think. For this, like, the design alone is super creepy, super ominous. You wouldn't expect it to just walk around a class so nonchalantly. I almost expect it to try and like mess with people, or try and inflict pain, or like stab someone, which wouldn't work, of course, because they can't see it and you can't interact with them. But like, he's just walking around, looking out the window and just kind of loving life. He's just watching. But then, of course, we got another reveal and another secret from him. Probably not the end. I imagine he's going to have more secrets up his sleeve. Whenever he gets bored, I imagine he's going to do something. Whenever something affects him as a passive observer, he will start doing things to make the story more interesting. I find it interesting already, but he seems not enough. So he's thrown out the idea that he can grant Light some power, his eyes. He'll be able to look at someone and immediately know their name, how many years they have. Of course, that information is kind of useless to Light, but he'll get the name and face, so he can just write it down and kill them. So that's a terrifying prospect, which I imagine is going to be, it's going to be an aspect of the next episode, of course. But see, my biggest takeaway is the fact that we actually know that Ryuk is not immortal. That's the thing. He has to do his job to stay alive. There is a way, technically then, to kill him. We get to know that it works by him writing people's names in the book, that those years get added to his own, and that's how he keeps going. So technically, if he were to die, that would mean he would have to be out of death notes. He could no longer write someone's name, no longer steal their years, and he would just die. That'd be it. That feels like it's kind of the only way, but then if you could add somehow negative years, that would also work, because that would take away his lifespan. But then how can you do that? How would you be able to add negative years to his life? You have to write the name of someone down who I guess is already dead. Like, could that work? Could you write someone's name down who is already dead? Would that add negative years to Ryuk's lifespan? Because he's not going to think of doing that. He's not going to look on the internet to find faces and names. That could be something, but how would you get hold of his? No, because he has to write it himself. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I don't even know if this story would end with Ryuk's death. I doubt it. I just like they thrown the possibility out there, because this story feels very personal between L and Light. And then we just get to see the dad, so when we now have the complete picture of Light's family, it looks like a happy family. They seem good. I don't see how he's gotten to this state. The only explanation is either psychopath or the way the world is, but you'd think this bubble of the family would at least give him some kind of morality, that he sees that these people, the criminals that he's killing, would have families too that could love them. Yet he's still killing them anyway without hesitation. But yeah, I just think it's nuts that of course the dad happens to be the chief of police, that now gives Light access to all of the information that Elle is working on, but that means Elle can work around that too. But it does set up an interesting conflict for, I hope, when Light's identity does get revealed. That's got to be where this is going. Like, what would the dad do in that situation? Would he actually sentence his own son to death, or would he help him? Would he cover up Light's identity to save his son? Or on the other hand, would Light actually consider killing his own father? I mean, his presence alone just adds another interesting depth to this entire thing. Then I do want to point out the conflict in the world. I really like that detail where there was a policeman who actually commented that crime is going down. He didn't say that it was a good thing what Light is doing, but he's saying it is having an effect. I like that we have this sort of discourse happening within the police, because both of them are side characters. It was Light's dad and this random person. So we are seeing that people are seeing the effect, and it's whether or not how long it goes on for. If it ends quickly, then that's fine. Things will go back to normal and people will probably forget about this whole thing. But if it goes on for long enough, people would start having opinions. We already saw it here. People are trying to pretend to be Kira. They're trying to give false information. People are covering up the identity and making the police work more difficult. They're covering for Light. They like how the world is at the minute. And if this goes on more and crime continues to drop and life continues to get better through the murder of all these people, people will cling to this. And eventually you'll have them go against the police themselves. You have society go against the people that are trying to stop Light. So really, it is a huge matter of time. We're getting to see that here. It's the start of the clock. First off, it's just someone stating what's happening. Then it's them actually forming an opinion. Do we stop doing this? Yes, we might fear for our lives for going after Light, but is his effect on the world good or bad? Eventually, people will have a say, and the police would have to stop. So Elle really has to work fast to get this done before the world has their say. Then visuals. I think I just loved Ryuk's visual here, because this one felt rather tame in comparison to the other episodes that we have seen. I still think back to how Light was using the pen and just how his movements were to write the names down. The more interesting part in this episode was, of course, seeing Ryuk's eyes change for the first time, because they've never changed. It was just a blank kind of expression where he was just smiling, and it looked super creepy, but it never changed. You couldn't really read what he was saying or read what he was thinking. Now we're going to see the first visual change in his expression and face, with his eyes turning bright red and being cast in shadow. It's clearly ominous, it's clearly evil intent. He wants to cut Light's life in short. He wants that part of the deal. Yes, he wants Light to get the power because that'll make it more interesting for him, but he also wants to cut Light's life short because it will probably make him start doing things again. I'm guessing he only offered the deal because he saw that Light wasn't going to live super long. He probably is quite accurate in saying that he's going to, like, 50 years to 25 years left, so which will make Light start getting paranoid. It's adding another paranoid layer to it. He now knows that his life is going to be cut short. If he takes this deal, he will start acting more erratically. And that's what this new visual represents. It's that dark undertone with the eyes and the shadow. Ryuk's intents are so visible there. He wants things to start getting more chaotic and crazy because that is what he likes. It's entertainment. Yeah, as for what's next, I really don't know whether or not Light would take this deal. I think he's the kind of person that likes the challenge, first off, but he probably would enjoy having it be easier to protect himself. He is self-preservative, that's something. So I feel like there's a good, it's literally 50-50. There's a good chance he could take the deal, good chance he turns it down. But then that leaves it on the table that he could eventually go back and take the deal. But I don't know if this would be too early to do something like that. The way the show is going, it's so fast paced. I feel like they're gonna find each other like in the next episode, which obviously can't happen. There's 37 episodes. How can you deal with this? It's just insane to think how fast all of this is moving, and now you add another thing in there, and it's just, the next episode is gonna be crazy, just no matter what. Whether he turns down the deal, just seeing how he responds to whatever Light does next, not Elle does next, or he takes the deal, and then it just explodes after that. He kills the FBI agent. People realize that it's from this house. It's connected to the chief of police. There's so many little threads that has been spun in just 3 episodes that it's just making my mind spin. He still has the notebook hiding place, which is obviously going to come up. Someone's going to try and open the drawer and it's going to explode. I just love how many options there are for this story. It feels like it could go anywhere. It's so hard to try and predict everything. You can just try and predict things and where things can happen, but you have no idea when those things will happen. And there's so many of them. But yeah, then overall, this was a fantastic episode. Absolutely loved it. Of course, seeing Ryuk be weird and fun, always enjoyable to see. But then I just love that we're getting more reveals on Light's family that was built up over time. First the mum, then the sister, now the dad, and the dad being the biggest one, who has connection to the police. And I just love the writing of this and just how fast-paced it does feel at the start alone. It makes me so curious to see how this can evolve and how it can actually finish this story with how much they're already doing. Like, in my mind, this is only the start, yet it's already so incredible. How can it keep getting better after this? I think the first 3 episodes have just set an incredible tone for the show, and it makes me so excited to just see where on earth this can actually go. But yeah, with that said, that does bring me to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments, and with that, I will see you in the next one for episode 4. See ya!